Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and hot rodders of all ages. We're going to build this little tribute T-bucket kit in a video series for YouTube. Uh, it is a kit that Speedway Motors puts together, and we'll get the legal stuff out of the way right off the bat. They do not sponsor me in any way, shape, or form. It's just a kit that I picked up and enjoyed putting it together. There raised some questions about a few things on it, good and bad, and I thought I'd do a little YouTube video about it. Maybe it'd help you, or if you just like watching YouTube. And then again, if it's the weather's too bad outside to traipse to the shop, go ahead and pop the video series in and then sit back and enjoy. Thanks for watching. So today we're going to talk about brake lines and how we're going to plumb them. I'm going to show you how I installed these through the frame rail brake line fittings. They're pretty nice. They clean things up really nice. I think they look better than the tabs that the rubber hose goes on to. The only thing is you have to use a -3 AN fitting with this, which is no big deal. All the stainless steel brake lines, that's what they are, so it's no big deal. So I'll show you on the other side how we did this. So let's talk about the tools I'm going to use. I'm going to measure out on the frame where it needs to go, and then I like to have the top of the nut just below the frame. So when I figure that measurement out, I'll take my locator and I'll find the center of that. I'll give that a tap. And of course, just like before, center punch. And then I'll step it up. I always start with like an 1/8 inch drill bit to make sure it's centered in the center punch, because it is a small tip on that center punch. So 1/8 inch, I'll go up to I think a 5/16, 3/8. I'll follow up with a 9/16 because that's what this shank measures, is a 9/16. Then when I'm done, I'll take my little machinist deburring tool. I'll deburr the hole, and I'll finish it up with a file if I need to. So that's the tools we're going to use besides a hand drill. Of course, you know what all that looks like. And I'll walk you through this right quick. We'll make this a quick video. So from here to the center line of where the brake's going to pass through is 6.5 inches. So I can take my square and I can measure off the front of this axle to 6.5 inches. So I got my mark there. I'll go ahead and draw a center line. So with that being said, I want to be roughly a 1/2 inch down from the top of the frame to the top of this nut. So I'll set my square once again at a 1/2 inch. Tighten that up. And I always put the flat against that. So I come up. So from the top of here to the nut is a 1/2 inch. I'll take my locator, set it in there. Remember, it's just going to be a soft tap on this. All you want to do is put a little dimple. So I've got a little dimple there. Now I'm going to drill this from the outside, and this nut's going to go on the inside, but as long as it's proper here, it's going to be proper there. So now that I got a small dimple, we'll go ahead and we'll make a larger one. And there we go. So as you can see, I'm going to run into clearance problems with my hand drill on this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the jack underneath the front of this, and I'm going to go ahead and jack the front of the vehicle up to give me some more clearance. So let me get that done. All right, so you can see I got the front of the vehicle jacked up. So I'll be able to take my drill and I'll be able to drill in here with no problem without hitting my front suspension. So let me get set up with a drill. Okay, so we've got it drilled. Take a file, just knock off any big burrs on that. Then I like to take my little tool here, cleaning the inside burrs out on that. And let's see if our hole's big enough to fit now. So there you go. Now I'll be able to take my fitting and I picked these fittings up at the local speed shop, I guess you could say it is. So it's an 1/8 inch pipe to a -3 AN. And what I'm going to do is I'll run brake lines for the front up each brake horn or frame horns, and it'll tie it in. It'll look nicer. The headlight's going to be there. It'll cover 90% of that. I just think it looks a lot better than that rubber hose coming out. So it'll be a nice braided brake line from here to the caliper. We finally got the steering figured out. I'm 99% sure. So as always, here's the part number that I used. The through frame AN3 to an 1/8 inch, 1.5 to 2 inch. I did do a little machining on that. Just to let you know, the top of that frame is, it looks like it's 1 3/8 inches. So I did shorten the stem of this so it looks a little nicer. You have to do a little tapping on that. That's no big deal. Simply done, or easily done with hand tools. Not simply, that's not even a word, I don't think. So as you can see, there we are. If you like what you're seeing on this, go ahead and tell your friends, hit that follow button. So now a little word from our sponsors.
Oh, here at Nathan's Toupees and Pawn Shop, 24-hour service. Broke and bald, bald and broke, we don't care. We'll fix you up with a toupee and we'll finance you. We'll loan you money on your wife's wedding ring, your grandma's hearing aids. 24 hours a day, friends. Come in, get money and a disguise. Toupees and pawn.